What is happening? Are we recording?
Yeah,
I think
we're
we're
away.
recording.
I can't.
Episode 43.
No,
44.
We just went over this, Ron.
fucking guy. Like, yeah, just before hitting record, Ron practiced saying numbers. Fucking guy.
All right.
He doesn't. I mean, the fact that he showed up is a big win.
What else do you need from me?
Yeah, counting, not. That's a lot.
Yeah, particularly.
We
ran out of fingers.
Now that you're here, I mean, is there anything else we can do for you? You want to tell us who's behind you? Do you
Yeah, and I got the best looking band like in the world, but definitely on the podcast. The dwarves.
Fucking dwarves.
The fucking dwarves.
Is that guy, so if you're not on YouTube right now, is the guy playing bass wearing no pants?
That sounds about right.
I don't know. There's about it's
distracting.
a 50-50 shot, man, with dwarves. I think he's got pants on, but that's just what the photo was taken.
It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't have
Look
pants
like
on.
Yeah, 100% normal. I'm gonna be forever bummed that I didn't go to that show with them opening for Gwar. Like,
that was a missed opportunity right there.
Yeah,
I just remember like Gwar in the 90s. Dave, I don't think they maybe had this in Australia, but in the 90s here, at least where I was, there's a lot of like super Christian right going on, and that's cool, man, if you're into that sort of thing. But there was a lot of worry about bands and music, and it was just sending you straight to the devil. And Gwar was like right up there. I mean, they were squirting blood and semen on crowds, like, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we didn't have the real religious ideology. For us, it was just like the destruction of social order, right? That was the main thing people were concerned about here in the 90s. Was this is just
oh, that's a bad thing.
Oh, well, I mean, again, divided camps, right? Another thing to argue about on the LinkedIn.
Fucking LinkedIn.
Fucking LinkedIn. What you got going on behind you, David?
This is another Australian band. I'm going to see how long I can use Australian bands on the episode. These are the Pissed Idiots. PIST, actually, if you're trying to search for them. But like a mature age band formation only in about 2017. First single was just called "Fuck Off," right? And their first latest studio album was Idiocracy. So just a cool band. Tours locally. Done a UK tour, but just good old Australian fun.
Nice
punk rock.
It's been, I don't even know how many episodes since anybody got a tattoo, and I'm starting to think something's up here, boys. We're gonna have to step up the game.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my bonus.
This is old people reasoning right here. Yeah, same. I'm like,
That's not an excuse, Ron. Ben will
get paid, right?
Ben will pay for the punk rock safety tattoo.
I'll pay for the punk rock safety.
Ben will fund it.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
You heard it here first. All right.
I'm doing it. Like a neck tattoo.
Yeah, there you go.
Rock safety.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I've got
what are you doing, Ben?
That's Lambrini Girls, man. I don't know if I've had them there before. If I did, it doesn't matter. I was listening to them on the flight out here to sunny Newark, New Jersey. And they just have this kick-ass song called Cuntology 101, and I just think of Dave every time.
Yes.
It's just a list of stuff that's like this, that's cunty. This is cunty. And it's great.
Love it. Yeah, cunt.
So is that the first subject of your safety course that you run?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We like
Are you, is that a
classification
question or
system.
are you just acknowledging that that's true?
That's fantastic.
What
What
else
are
have
we
you been
talking
doing?
about today, David?
Okay. Straight into it. That doesn't feel like it's been 7 or 8 minutes today.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. I didn't know we were gonna fuck around more.
So if you've auto forwarded to that 8 minute mark, you've obviously missed the start. So so well, we've talked so far on well, amongst a bunch of useless ramblings, we've talked about a bunch of safety activities in companies, right? And I think if any company wants to list out what you're doing for safety, you'll list out 20, 30, 40, 50 things, right? We do inductions, risk assessments, investigations, safety management meetings, audits, leadership
Oh man,
visits.
you do should
Yeah,
they be
man.
doing it?
Oh, we all should be doing it, right? And holding hands while we're doing it. Um,
Wait, what are we doing while we're holding hands? What's
Don't worry about it.
leadership, safety leadership visits.
oh
But there was some work done on looking at organizations and looking at the coordination and integration of these activities. And the hypothesis kind of went that like these activities should be connected. So if we think about our incident management process, our audit process, our safety management governance kind of meeting process, our risk register, surely if you look at a company, say over a 12-month window, surely if you look at like the types of serious incidents that they've had, that should probably connect with the type of things that companies are auditing. That should kind of connect with what's in their risk database. That should kind of connect with the agenda items and action items out of safety management meetings. And some researchers looked at a few organizations and kind of said, no, well, that isn't the case. And they called it kind of horizontal coordination of safety management activities. And the idea was like, actually, no, it feels as if these things in companies don't even talk to each other. So, surely the thing is like
coordination is a good title for this.
Yeah, like feedback loops, like, we've had these 5 incidents last year, and then I go to that site and I do the safety induction, and nothing in the safety induction even references those, 5 key issues or incidents that have happened in the last. It's almost like there's 0 feedback loops that are happening in safety in an organization across the different practices. So that's the topic. Did we solve?
yeah.
Well, so funny, right? Because that's the purpose. Like,
is that I mean, as you're I'm listening to it again, like is that really what's happening? Because when you just said, for example, hey, we had these incidents and there's nothing in the orientation or induction, like I don't know, I actually see sometimes like the opposite, where like, oh, we had a rash of hand injuries, and so we're going to make sure we mention hand injury safety in our induction. And it's usually nonsense, like, oh, we're gonna do a toolbox talk on hand safety,
on handies.
we're gonna have it's handy week.
Such a shame I'm not wearing my
handy safety week
punk rock safety shirt today.
Like I don't know, like,
okay, well I think that the fact that those things are connected is kind of like one point. You lose the 10 bonus point. You lose the 10 bonus points if you connect over useless shit. But
yeah, and I think some of it starts but never stops.
Yeah,
right? So
that's true.
Somebody hurts their hands, you add that. Somebody hurts their foot, we add that, and then it's just this like magnet attracting bullshit that we learned or paid attention to once.
But that's interesting. Like maybe then the bullshit stuff gets connected in the management system, but the important stuff doesn't. And so, for example, I can walk into an organization and pick up their safety management system, right? And their safety management. Are you just waving at me? What
are you doing? Are you good?
Yeah, my camera, I was like shrinking. Look at this.
Oh, we can't see any of that.
I just love.
You look absolutely retarded right
now. I
like you're.
Oh my god, I just can't.
Your camera is kind of following you, but all we're getting is, oh, look at this.
I hope people watch this on
Sorry.
fucking.
Yeah, this just
You
just
know,
what
I'm
I'm
not
tired.
sure that the state of New York is as liberal with their rules on shrooms as Denver is. So you just
I'm
might
in
want
New
to.
Jersey. You can do anything here.
You just might want
What the
I gotta
fuck?
tell you, actually, I have a bone to pick with mushrooms. Um,
to.
I
Mushrooms don't have bones as far as
Okay.
I'm aware.
I rolled in here. I'm gonna give our pal Sam Goodman a shout out here because Sam, he's a smart traveler, and he's like, "Look, dude, you gotta order ahead, get some groceries, get some shit delivered to the hotel. This is big time stuff. This is the kind of guy, that does VIP
Oh,
on a card.
that's fucking smart.
So I land, I order, I get all this stuff sorted. It's gonna be delivered. It takes
What do you
forever.
like Instacart? What
Yeah, well, I don't know, DoorDash,
something?
whichever. Yeah, I had to think of the name and it's fine.
There's probably a Chick-fil-A downstairs.
No, but that'd be great. So I hop on here, it's on my phone, everything's really small. I pick out what I think is like cold brew or iced coffee for the morning because I gotta have a little, you know, I'm not a brewed coffee guy. I'm like these Australians with their flat whites. I need special treatment. This coffee show, it's mushroom coffee is what showed up. I never had mushroom
Yeah.
coffee in my life. I had it this morning. I wish I never had it. I blame Sam. If Sam hadn't come up with so many good ideas, I'd be mushroom free.
Is that a problem with the idea or the implementation of the idea?
It's an execution problem. Absolutely. It's sort of like safety management. What is it? Who wrote it's a Norwegian article, I think, that like proliferation of bullshit safety management article. Do you
There's
remember?
one by Almkov and the team, which is like when safety science meets the practitioners, the marginalization of safety specific knowledge or something. It basically says like
That's a
I
good
don't
paper.
I don't care if you've been a train driver for 30 years. I don't care if you've been a captain of a ship for 30 years. What do you know about managing safety? I've got an ISO standard which tells me everything I need to know. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool. Now this one was it's like reasonable regulation to bullshit tasks.
Oh,
And it sort of speaks to it's Norwegian. I don't remember somebody will check it out for us. I don't
checks out
remember the author's names, but
NTNU maybe.
yeah. It'll be on LinkedIn that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, which is true.
no, that's already on there.
Yeah. Actually in my profile.
That's actually that's trending.
It's like one of those little badges, like open to work. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
It'll be the new kind of like 6, 7.
It's me swinging back and forth. No, it's a good paper. I'm surprised you guys haven't read it. It has bullshit in the title, which to me is the mark of some pretty amazing academic work. But it's right in what you're talking about, Dave. That idea that you read that almost the regulation makes things worse in terms of this safety management, right? We're creating that need to do things, those activities that by themselves aren't really bad, but we're missing the whole management system part of
But I
it.
think it makes us so what I was going to say before the whole mushroom story
Yeah, you're
was
welcome.
yeah. Was
Mhm.
you can walk into an organization and pick up their management system and it says like last revision date 2015, right? Like a decade ago, like pretty common. I'd pick up a document, say like 2017 or something. And you kind of go, so you've learnt nothing in a decade of, for this process or this activity. And so, I wonder if like the regulations and the systems, like they just keep us kind of stuck in doing things the way we've always done them, regardless of everything that we, might have had as opportunities to learn and improve along the way. But maybe it's just the whole management system update piece that just doesn't help us move forward, right? Like if you haven't updated anything in the last 6 months, like if you're not doing your job.
Some of the regulations also require that your management system is updated.
But most of them will just say every 5 years, right? And so what everyone does is dust off whatever they've got and go into the footer and update the revision number and the revision date and hit republish and put them back in their document control system that no one looks at.
I think what and IKEA probably I think has done a better job with this, the implementation of safety management systems, because they've really talked about reviewing performance, doing it regularly, suggesting that a year is probably as long as you'd want to go, giving all the guidance on these sorts of things. And instead of just revisions, actually tracking that story of what worked, what didn't work, and the
Cool.
the performance of the system, not just the existence of the system.
Because your system, we sort of talk about it, or have talked about it in a paper as like the opportunity to institutionalize the our learnings and knowledge about safety. So at any point in time, I guess one argument you could make is if you look at a company safety management system at any point in time, that is the repository of everything that this company knows that's required to make their organization safe. Right? Like in its entirety. Like if this system contains, if we do what's in this system, this is everything that we know about how to make our organization safe. And so
is that really what it is?
Well, I don't know. That's one thing that's something that it could be. What else could it be?
Well, so I because I'm reflecting on when you say that, like, okay, that you pick up the document and it's revision of years ago and all that shit. Like, I'm pretty sure they've learned something. I'm pretty sure that the way they're actually practicing stuff is different than what's in that document, in small ways or massive ways. And so, like, to me, I would say that, like, that document then is there because it begs your question, like, what is the purpose of this document? It's supposed to inform practice, but it's clearly not, right? Because if there is difference between how we're kind of doing things and what's written in the document, then what's the purpose of the document? It just comes back to demonstrated safety, right? It's just something I can show to the regulator and be like, hey, here's.
But again, if that's why we're stuck, like if your organizational practice has moved on and your system hasn't, then what about the poor new manager that comes in the organization and she goes, oh, I've got to do leadership visits. Oh, look in the system. And it's like, oh, we don't even have leadership visits in the system. So how do I do this? What do I do? Then you glitched big time.
And then just like disappeared and came back.
Dude, I was telling stories about mushroom coffee. I think the glitching started earlier and it just escalated. I don't know what you guys said, but I assume you solved all of it.
That's 2 episodes in a row. Like last episode, it was Ron who just fucked off mid-episode.
Yeah. Stood up and left.
My doorbell rang. Ben's like, damn, 100%. These shrooms.
Like, I think you're so right, Dave. Like, and this gets back to your original point of, like, there's this when that happens and you have this like disconnect between what's in the document, meant to satisfy the regulator, you divorce that thing from operational practice, and so you're gonna get that disconnection. That what was it, horizontal integration or whatever, right? You're not gonna have that because like everybody's sort of adapting to what's in front of them, not really, I don't know, singing from the same hymn book.
And shout out to, so I guess, shout out to Josh Bryan again, who's our other co-host when Ron decides not to turn up. I was looking at some of his, and, I know we're all on this big AI revolution now, no more than the data center construction people.
But, you're welcome, bitches.
But if you think about a safety management system, maybe not as a collection of documents anymore, but as some kind of wiki, which is like a knowledge repository of what do we know about safety and what we should do. Josh kind of pumped in a whole bunch of stuff where, you just launch queries at it. And why isn't our system, all the incident investigation reports go into the knowledge database, all the audit reports go into the knowledge database, everything. And then you can start querying things like, what are some things that have happened in the last 3 months that haven't happened before in our organization? What is like, I don't know. I just think this idea of, knowledge management as opposed to safety management systems might be kind of the next frontier now that we've got the tools to help with that, because we still see our systems as like a collection of PDF documents, right? And people are like, oh fuck, they're hard to update. Like, you know, so maybe to coordinate these activities better, like drop all your minutes into a database, or your agendas, or your PowerPoint presentations, or your strategies, or your incident investigations, or your training programs, and just put it all in a knowledge repository. Maybe that helps you then understand what's going on better. Don't know, just a random thought.
I mean, I can tell you that it does. I think it does. We're doing that with clients all the time.
Yeah, you are.
To build those models
walking out of the building with bags of cash.
Yeah, well, that's not happening. I'm not very good at that part of it. But it's I think of the safety management system differently, Dave, than you. Because it's very light on documents.
Okay.
At least what I have experience with and work with is it is a description of the process. It's a description of the interfaces and integrations that help us do this management, maybe even do the knowledge management, but it isn't all of that by itself. So it's kind of I don't know, it's the guide to how we get it done, but it isn't all the answers.
So I think that's really, so there's a process component of the system, which I think I'm hearing you mention there, Ben, about, the steps we take and how they connect in that. And then I'm also thinking about the information component, which is aiding decision-making in the organization. So, if I,
and I think I think about that sort of in a different place than the actual management system. Well, or at least the manual that sort of describes the management system. And you may have an appendix or another place where it's like Joshy's stuff, right? You can have a repository that lives separately from that. But
yeah, that's a good point.
But you focus
so I get
how we get there.
So on the demonstrated safety piece, you wouldn't just hand over that database to a regulator or someone and go, "Hey, here's our safety management system." All right, cool. I get. There's got to be boundaries around process and information. But again, I think a management system is designed to help people do something to a certain level of quality, or make a decision that's directed in the way that the company wants it directed.
Yeah, agreed. And I think I think we're on the same page with that. I think of that management system as those mechanisms for, where do I look? Where does it connect? What are those useful activities, and how do we, I don't know what you called it, horizontally coordinate with some of those other things that make sense. And that I can show to a regulator or to anybody else and go, look, this is how we do what we do. And then without just dumping all the knowledge on you, I can kind of show you the output of how we get there. That's a different piece. The actual mechanism for gathering that data is the management system, the knowledge and decision-making tools that can live separately.
Yeah.
At least for me. And I don't know that fundamentally there's a massive difference. It's just, I don't think of a management system as this big, heavy, bloated thing of everything that we know. I think of it describing how we got to the point of deciding that what we know is even important, deciding what's important, what connects. There's got to be some, otherwise we end up in that article. That whole bullshit task piece, I think, it sort of comes from that, right? This idea that the management system has to have a little bit of everything, or a lot of most everything, and then just adding to it until it is the entirety of what we know, versus a description of knowledge gathering. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Probably not. Blacked out with the mushrooms there. I'll just hang up again. I'll be back when you guys figure it out.
No, I think it's really been helpful. So I agree with you, like a management system at the risk of getting even more bloated and transactional and confusing. So we want to keep our core management system lean and focused and relevant. And alongside that, then is like, what's all of the supplementary kind of activity and information that can also help the organization to manage aspects of safety. And I read a post this morning on the LinkedIn by someone at Lassie, and that basically just had basically like a AI query of talk about the implementation of AI at Atlassian and the roadmap and that. And it went and searched everything that had been on in Slack and Slack's channels and Confluence and just throughout all of their databases, and came back and laid out all this stuff that wasn't even known to the AI team, right? So it talks about information in your business about safety that isn't even known to the safety team, about finding threads on Slack channels in parts of the world, and I just feel like now in 2025 there's all this information in your business that if you wanted to ask a question about what do we know as an organization about how to safely manage crane operations, right? If it could look at every audit report, every incident investigation to do with cranes, every leadership, like, as opposed to going to, here's my crane procedure, right? It's such a stale, like process that, I guess it's a missed opportunity. So I think, maybe that's where my ramblings have sort of been like, the safety management system is one thing, but what do we do? Like how do we leverage all of the other stuff we know that's not what we see in our management system? Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
No, I'm with you, dude. I think again that a management system is the sort of how we got here, and then we were just messing with this the other day with some folks, and it was like every safety report since the dawn of time in their company went into this language model, large language model for them. Every one of those, every one of their JSAs, as flawed and dumb as they sometimes were, they just put everything in there. And then they could go and ask, what does all the information from our JSAs have to do with what's happening in the hazard reports or safety reports? And it can come back and where you maybe fight with leadership or a supervisor about the need for some of these things, it came back and just said there's no discernible connection between things that are happening here and things here. People aren't reporting the same things that show up on this. Man, that's super cool. And I don't think you get this. I don't think you get a pass for very long on this, but today, well, it's still relatively new. You go, look, man, I didn't say it. I mean, the AI said it, right? And argue with him. I mean, eventually that's going to go away. And of course, these things hallucinate and get fucked up, but being able to look at every report that has ever happened in a minute is bonkers to me. But I think it's knowing that management system on its best day is the thing that tells me where to go find that information to, or how those things get connected, right?
Yeah.
What is the system that I'm trying to even work within? And so is there stuff that, like, we were just talking about this today, right? Like, is the contract office, do they have something to do with safety? And sure, the leases have some things that might require, a conversation about safety performance. But man, if we're looking at people that are slow pays, or they're behind on payment, what are the odds? What's our confidence that they're investing like they say they are in tools and equipment and education and safety work? The things that's actually uh, positively affecting the work. Well, I don't know, maybe they are, but it lets me prioritize where I want to look. And I think that's, for me, I want to memorialize that sort of thinking. So when I get struck by the beer truck or my groceries disappear in a robot, which is what happened yesterday, I have to tell you. I get struck by the grocery robot. There's some record of thinking. Like this podcast, a record of our thinking.
But if you're
Not a good record.
If you're recording like, hey, I want to look at these sorts of things from the contracting side, I mean, after a while, doesn't that become like a massive thing of what we know? And Like I think I get what you're saying, but I'm just trying to, what's the difference? You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, you're going to end up with a lot of data
Yeah, I
that
think
says what
uh,
you,
probably the difference right now is that we're messing around asking it questions, right? I mean, the novelty of being able to go to and we're not putting so in that example, we didn't put contracting information in, but we were able to go through these other things and then say, look, if I could link this over to people who pay slowly or what have you, right? That's less of an AI function and more just of a way of thinking. So, the large language model stuff is looking at JSAs and looking at safety reports. But the other thing I was talking about with contracting is really just that it's memorializing or it's structuring that thinking. Like, how do I navigate within this system where I know there should even be that horizontal connection Dave was talking about? Because ordinarily, this is like, Dave, at the very beginning of the conversation, you said, the things that are causing us trouble are not really where management system activities are.
Essentially. Okay. Yep.
Or at least, a lot of times they're not, right? Well, if one of the problems in our organization is we don't have a lot of faith that our contracted partners are really doing the things we expect from them. Okay, well, let's find out where in our system we have information that can help us either get more confident or at least confident in the way that we understand it.
Yeah.
So
I think
again, I think going through the how we gain that knowledge piece.
and I think in terms of gaining knowledge, and coordinating our activities, we could kind of make an argument that everything we do in safety is about learning or improvement, right? So one thing is like we're actually just finding new information about the way our organization's functioning or the risks that exist and the way they're controlled, or we're driving improvement. So we've got a lot of tools. If you think of management systems as just a toolbox, right, of stuff. So that's the real question. Like if we're connecting to, we've got these few things on our risk profile that we're really concerned about. How can we then use our leadership visits process, our safety communication activities, our training, our auditing? How can we all sort of focus some of those tools towards the things that matter to us at this point in time? And I think that's that horizontal coordination. We've got all these tools in our toolbox, but we're not. Doesn't feel like we're using them in a coordinated way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
Except for the hand injuries. The hand injuries are probably about the most coordinated thing we do in safety. We go from injury to talking about it at management meetings to site stand down to monthly hand safety campaign to procure new gloves to update the induction training. Like I tell you what, the thing that we do really well in safety is hand safety management.
Is talk about hand safety. I don't know that we're actually doing any good about it.
So don't put your hand where you wouldn't put your.
Finish that sentence. That's
Can't be any worse than the where we started with cuntology.
Yeah, it's fair. Well, I think, and you said something earlier, Dave, about like knowledge management systems, and I think that really connects with what you're saying, Ben, because like as we get more information, like you're talking about, okay, this management system helps us know where to look and what to pay attention to, and what should be important to us and how we make sense of it and move forward to identify and deal with those risks. I think as we get more information from incidents or other places, there should be a process to update that. Like, okay, you know, like I think Dave Woods talks about like directed attention. Like, where should we be directing our attention and focusing our time and energy? Um, and I think there's an intention in a lot of management system standards that I've seen to have that, but I've rarely seen management systems really make that like a important part of the management system. It's almost like, okay, we do some audits, but it's just to make sure that we're following the management system. It's not about updating our mental model of what we should be paying attention to and
Because
what we should be
That's
focusing on.
cool. Yeah.
I think the point that you made at the start, Ron, but I think it was before we hit record, was that isn't that what a system's meant to do? So if you get to the end of your incident management process, does it tell you at the end of the incident management process to, based on the findings of any incident investigation, update the risk management system with, threats and controls and control reliability, update, the audit database. Like it doesn't tell that it's like, here's our incident investigation procedure, here's our auditing procedure, here's our safety leadership procedure. And so we call it a system, but it's really just a aggregated set of individual processes.
Absolutely. And I think I remember Jim Howe. I don't know if either of you guys know him. He used to be safety for like the United Auto Workers, and then was big in like the ANSI Z10 management system. And he would harp on this all the time. Like, a lot of management systems are just a bunch of pieces that are just sitting out there. And how do we make it so these things connect and talk to each other, and like they're feeding off one another, and and actually it becomes a dynamic process, not just this random ass set of.
So when I was doing even though, Ron, I guess episode 2, you don't think safety professionals are needed in organizations.
Imagine for a moment they were, though.
Imagine for a moment that they were. And, I tried to research for a while to try to find a valuable contribution they could make. And interestingly,
what'd you come up with? Nothing.
Well,
Move on.
Well, Fram diagrammed sort of the safety activities of an organization. And actually, Eric Holnagel was kind enough to give his 2 cents. And it sort of started on the left with, organizational commitment to safety. And on the very far end was safely adapt work or safely adjust work, right? Which is what we want people to do, to basically be able to adapt their work to maintain safety in a dynamic environment, and sort of mapped all of the inputs, outputs, preconditions, and kind of like resources and all these things, how they connect. Because ultimately, there's a frame diagram for this, right? Like a network diagram for how we want our safety management to translate from organizational commitment to all the people in our organization able to safely adapt their work every day, right? So if we can't draw it, we don't understand it. And the role that all these different processes play.
How they connect to one another.
How they connect. Like what's the input into an investigation process? Where are the resources drawn from? What are the outputs? What are the, and then how does that then flow through with, regulation and leadership and the risk management system and the auditing assurance process, from a sort of like learn, monitor, anticipate, respond type, pillars of resilience. Like, what are the mechanisms we use to learn about our business? What then informs the important parameters that we monitor and anticipate around, and then how do we respond before incidents occur and adjust the organization. So I think that's a big challenge for this conversation about the coordination of safety activities. Like, can't draw it, you don't understand how it fits together.
But I think that's a good takeaway for people, for our 6 or maybe 5 listeners.
We've definitely lost a couple, man. The last few episodes have been shit.
Yeah, had to have.
Whose idea was wellness? Ron in his fucking self-help shirt.
Yeah. I want you to feel good about yourself, Dave.
Listen, it's all about, we need people to be in good shape listening to this thing they need it for the long haul.
That's why you need that mushroom coffee, man.
Self-care, I think that
Gotta stay regular.
I think that
hence the little dropout before.
Yeah, you're hitting on something that is a good takeaway for folks, though, which is sort of mapping those interfaces, whether it's with Fram or sketching some stuff out
circles and lines. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to look at the interfaces within the system. Because Dave, as you said, if I can't draw it, if I can't describe it, then I don't understand where it is.
Yeah,
it's more bullshit.
And you can
Yeah.
test this, like the way that this work was done was like, look at the last 12 months of agendas and minutes and actions from, key safety forums in the business. Look at the topics that you've audited in the last 12 months and the key findings from those reports. Look at some of your serious PSIFs or SIF events, what you've learnt from those. Look at your risk profile and your top 5 or 10 risks and controls and that, and just lay it out and just say, does it feel like these things are talking to each other? You know?
And that doesn't mean, per the whole fucking hand injury thing, it doesn't mean that you have to always do something just because you get like a piece of noise in the system or whatever. It just like if your system is not getting inputs and then evaluating them to see if adjustment is necessary, that's a problem. Like just because you get an input doesn't mean you have to adjust to it. And you may decide, okay, yes, I see it, I acknowledge it, but we're not going to change because of these other reasons which are more important to us. Whereas if you get another input, okay, that is important, we're going to adjust as a result of that, right? Like so you get some fucking hand injuries doesn't mean like, okay, well, now we got to reorient ourselves because
Well, it's a good.
You guys no more
It's,
handies.
so that's a good question. So that idea, and this is probably even could be a whole podcast, maybe not. I was talking to a leadership team the other week.
Anything could be if we believe in ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking to a leadership team the other week and asked them, how would you feel if an incident investigation report was produced with no action items, right? And it was really interesting to see the way the leadership teams, like in operational roles, they were so comfortable just going, oh, yeah, that's fine. Like, we don't need to do something about that. And the executive were kind of like paralyzed with fear of like if we haven't, can we not do something? And I'm like, person steps out of a truck onto the ground, rolls their ankle. Do you need to do something? And that kind of question becomes a because I'm with you, Ron. I'm like, fucking shit happens. Really, okay, yeah, might even have a bad injury, but I'm not going to fix your foot, and I'm not going to fix the ground, and I'm not going to stop driving trucks. And so, just the sheer thing of sending safety alerts and toolbox talks and checking people's shoelaces every morning, and that's all just a big fucking distraction, right? But it's really hard because we almost feel this one-to-one need to go issue action,
yeah. Well, and I think that stems a lot from like the whole, I think Eric Hollnagel's like causality credo, right? Like, accidents have causes and those causes need to be fixed, right? So the cause is related to something that is broken in the system. Therefore, if you find something broken and you don't put a fucking fix in it, like that's a problem. Whereas I think what we're like the mindset we're coming from is like, well, I mean, like if a guy like steps out of his truck and rolls his ankle, I don't know, I can make up a fucking cause for you, but like that's just life, man.
He was complacent, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The guy needs
before anyone hops out of a truck from now on, they have to call their supervisor before they open the door. The supervisor asks them 3 questions about their situational awareness, has them wind down the window, put their head out, look for any obstructions on the ground, and then proceed to slowly, exit their vehicle.
I was talking with someone.
We can fix that, man. We can just add 5 minutes to every job.
I was talking with someone who part of their role is it's the employees are like salespeople who go to like women's beauty stores like Ulta, Sephora,
like
places like
Sexyland
that.
Or something, or what?
What? Well, like they sell makeup and like shit like that, right? So like and they've had a lot of injuries because like literally this is happening. Like they're going to like these consumer parking lots, like in retail establishments, and parking their car and walking out, and they'll hit a pothole and roll their ankle, and one of them like broke their leg or something like that, and corporate was getting all pissed off at this person because like, hey, you need to come up with actions to correct this. And it's like, we don't own the parking lots. Like, yes, people could look down at their feet, but then they're walking through a public parking lot where they could get hit by a fucking car. I'm pretty sure that's probably a bit more important than rolling your ankle, right? Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? Like, I get it, that sucks, and I really feel for the person, but like, what, either you tell them not to go to the retail establishments anymore, which is their fucking job, or you're going to have to live with this.
And I think
This is
that,
how you get to these places like the Macondo well and giving people awards for putting lids on coffee cups, right?
Yeah,
This like
exactly.
weird ass rabbit hole of taking our eye off the ball and
Yeah.
yeah. And I think,
getting
yeah.
I think you're right, Dave. Like this is probably a bigger conversation.
Oh, I think, yeah, I think
But I think it relates.
it does relate because I think what Ben said sort of there, just this taking the eye off the ball is again some of Dave Woods and Brownlett's work around like safety energy. You know, your organization's got finite, time and money to invest in safety and the decision making around how you invest that should be informed by the management system, which is kind of where we started today, the processes and the practices and requirements in the system. Um, but it's finite, right? So every choice you make to do a hand safety campaign or a rolled ankle campaign or even the management time and effort, just talking about that shit is time and effort that can't be spent on something else, right?
Yeah.
And these are the choices that our management system should help kind of inform, which is like, don't like you. I think the biggest next shift in safety is when we let go of the need to try to do absolutely everything and we go, we're going to make sure we don't kill people. And yeah, you can make an argument that someone trips over a hole in the road and they hit their head on the ground and they fucking die. But, we're going to have to get to this point in safety where we just go, what shit happens. And if you look at some airlines, their recordable injury rates on baggage handlers and front of Hellstar are astronomical. Would scare the shit out of you. Knees, ankles, backs, shoulders, throwing baggage around and that. But the organization still go, you know what? Our first priority is that planes don't fall out of the sky. And we'll chip away at that other stuff, when we get. Now that's probably not the way airlines kind of work, and I'm oversimplifying it. But I think that's a big call when our management systems actually give permission to not sweat the small stuff.
Well, and I think what we're talking about is like I don't know, for lack of a better word, a maturity, and like to use another Dave Woods ideas like anomaly response, right? So when you get these data sources, because like, we're talking about these minor events that, should be disregarded. It's also worth noting that like, hey, a lot of like major disasters were preceded by these, so-called minor events that were discarded because they appeared to be minor, like, NASA, Columbia with foam strikes, right? Oh, that's not a big deal. We don't need to pay attention to that. And so I think to your point, Dave, like one of the things that I think we need to spend a hell of a lot more time talking about is how do we get data about where there are discrepancies between our management system and the world, and then how do we intelligently look at that, analyze it, classify it, and sometimes disregard it,
Yeah.
and sometimes react very strongly.
Yeah. And this is the time and space thing, right? Which is like to be able to do that. Because you're right, it's one thing to sort of go, this person rolled an ankle, so I'm not going to spend any organizational effort on that. It's another thing to say bits of our space shuttle are falling off and hitting other parts of the space shuttle. And so, I think that ability to evaluate, assess situations is kind of what safety professionals can do if they're not all sacked, because Ron
If I have my way.
thinks they should be. But yeah, you're right. Like, what do we discount and what don't we discount? Because by the time it becomes obvious, as again Dave Woods would say, by the time it's obvious to everyone, it's too late, right? The incident's kind of happened. But one of the roles of hopefully the roles of safety teams and the roles of our management processes is to actually find the important stuff.
There you go.
There you go.
Solved it.
Solved?
Hey. Well, look, you get to the end and just start throwing Dave Woods quotes around.
Yeah, that's I think that's like 80% of my job.
Minimum.
And so, Ben, more mushroom coffee tomorrow morning, or what have you ordered for tomorrow?
No. I stopped into the shop on the way back so I could throw the mushroom coffee where it belongs.
What's on for the rest of the week?
Some more teaching, learning.
And flying out to our site, groundbreaking ceremony.
What?
Fancy.
Do you get to wear a vest and a hat and hold a shovel and dig a hole?
You get to
I am
cut-
not going to
you
do
get to
that,
cut a
but other people
big
are.
ribbon with
Oh,
scissors.
I'll give you $10 if you can get someone to take a photo of your CEO with the shovel and you standing beside with the clipboard, watching your CEO, dig the first hole.
100% I can do that.
Yeah.
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 That I can do that. I can get that picture.
Not my job to, operate the shovel. My job to tell you how to do it safely.
Just
I don't even know how to operate a shovel, but I know
Yeah.
you're doing it wrong.
yeah, exactly.
Whereabouts you off to run?
Oklahoma.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Yeah, you are.
Yes, I am.
Well,
great
they're away
basketball.
today at the Mavs, but if you get tickets, let me know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Tulsa, so I won't be in
Hey.
OKC, but yeah.
Are you
That's
outsourcing? Are you going to outsource? I don't know, like an audit program for the construction of that site, or
Yeah.
I'm all over it for you, Ron.
Are you guys trying to sell me shit right now?
Yeah.
Audits all day, buddy.
I'm just trying to get a legitimate tax reason to visit
To go to
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. That's what you're trying to do.
Can I go on a free study tour?
Oh,
like
man. I'll make that happen.
All
I'll
right.
find tax reasons for you guys.
Perfect.
perfect.
All right, dudes. Have a good week.
All right, bitches.
Later.
Bye.